7 of the best ways to get more of these quotes. Nextdoor app plus Roofle is where it's at. Facebook groups also work really well. If you really want to get the most out of this, diligently promote the idea of transparency.
Anywhere you can get in front of them and give them easier access without having to actually search the web to go somewhere and they get lost, scan the QR, brings them right to the page that you want them to go and start going through that process.
If I was a homeowner, I would want the ability to get a fairly quick quote without talking to a salesperson, to be honest with you. That's what I would want as a homeowner. Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Hook Better Leads podcast. And today I have Travis Harvego. Harvego?
Yeah, Harvego.
How do you say it?
Harvego.
Harvego. And we're talking about the 7 best ways to get more online instant roof quotes. You already know the best way to get roof quotes is with Roofle Roof Quote Pro, right? Well, today we're talking about how to get more of them, because I think it's an incredibly powerful tool. We're at the cutting edge of roofing with this thing, and you got to promote it. You can't just build it and they will come, right? That's the age old thing. Well, if I have this, everyone should know about it. Well, they don't. So you got to let them know about it. Travis, you've seen a bunch of contractors getting quotes with this sucker. So let's talk about ways you've gotten it. If you don't mind giving a little bit of the last year, though. It's been a second since I've had anyone from Roofle on. What has been going on at Roofle? What are you guys up to?
Oh man, it's been a crazy last year. I mean, we're not even quite a year old yet. So in November, we'll be 1 year old since essentially our launch of the
Feels like
product.
longer than
So
that.
it does feel like a lot longer than that. It's because we've done so many great things, since the last year. And, their team has been hard at work, building out a lot of these pieces of technology and really launching this thing off the ground. But from the start of really our MVP being launched in early November at really RoofCon was really kind of the launch of our product up until where we are now. I believe that we actually have about 14 different products that we've released in some sort of way, and I think like 7 or 8 integrations that
Can you
we've
talk to me about
recently.
3 or 4 of your favorites?
Yeah, I think some of the bigger ones that we've done is obviously the measurement one, the recent Eagle View quick measure integration that we have, where now we allow contractors to come in and get detailed measurements to where they can then pull those actual reports within the technology. Within that as well, now you're allowed to get the homeowner to request their final proposal. So within the technology, the homeowner clicks, "I want a final proposal." It now orders that Eagle View in the background, and then essentially starting that final quoting process with the contractor. Now you really know how actually truly the homeowner is interested in getting that final proposal after seeing that quick quote. So
That's
that's
cool.
yeah, that's one of the bigger ones. And then also the launch of being able to get pitches and things like that. So we're just making it better. So the quick quote only gets better, only gets more accurate. And I
What
think
did you
by
say
bringing
about
in the
pitches?
pitches,
What is the
yeah,
pitch?
so we get the pitch now. Yeah, as well we
Oh,
get the
okay. So I
pitch.
was thinking about sales pitch. You're talking about
Um,
the the
Roof
ang-
pitch
yeah, roof pitch. That makes a lot more
angle.
sense than what I was saying.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Talking
angle of
about
the roof.
7 of the best ways to get more of these quotes. So how do we get more of them? We're up and running with the technology. We're excited about it. How can we get some more? I've got it. My first one is a quote from Chris Dyrall. Recently, John Delorier asked on Facebook, who's using this? How are you getting them? Chris Dyrall said, Nextdoor app plus Roofle is where it's at. Digital canvassing and town square discussions where you can help homeowners with the biggest question they have. How much does it cost roughly? I've found it to work better than Facebook groups. So he's talking about Nextdoor, but Facebook groups also work really well. So I thought that was good. He's using this as a differentiator in the comments of discussions and to share with homeowners, about rough cost estimates. As far as Nextdoor app, what else have you heard about Nextdoor? Because it sounds like that's the one that people are bringing up more often.
Yeah, that's a big one. And whenever we do our onboarding and our continued customer success with one of our agents, we talk a lot with our contractors about how to continue success or get more success. So, and we really promote that with all of our contractors to make sure that they are having, whether it be quarterly meetings or whatever it may take, to keep hearing about the new things that come out. And Nextdoor is a big one So Nextdoor is one that we definitely talk about as far as joining your local Nextdoor or whatever groups of Nextdoor that you can get into, and then being able to essentially embed and invite a lot of those Nextdoor customers into this experience. As we know, a lot of Nextdoor customers are looking for recommendations. They're probably just starting the process. They're more or less just curious, and as they go to a trusted source like Nextdoor that they can go into, and then they see this link that's embedded in there that they get very easy access to while they're still in the browsing or research or that stage that they're in, they're able to get access to it. And then once they're able to go in there, they're getting really what they need, which is essentially some sort of price, because they probably have no idea as far as what it costs. Now they have some sort of price, and also the contractor has now got essentially a conversion that has now came in through Nextdoor. And a lot of our contractors say that they've been doing very well on the Nextdoor app. So that's one that we highly recommend that all of our contractors join is Nextdoor and get into a lot of those groups.
Love it. I've got one more quote and then I'll just loose you to talk about other ideas. But Trey Venture said, I put it on my website as two easy buttons, and then I just wait in the Facebook neighborhood groups to ask for a roofer, and then I copy and paste this. And he gives exact verbiage. He says, uh, also, here's a quick cost calculator that I made for people his local area that want a quick ballpark cost. It uses AI to take measurements of your roof and it averages roofing costs based on my last 50 installs in city name. So you're giving them that hyper local intent that we have on all these groups and Facebook groups. I think he's talking about Facebook groups comments. Um, and Nextdoor is also hyper local intent, right? Like, and when you're using the city name, you're talking about we're using AI. It's just kind of like a nice way to say we're gonna give you a real quote kind of quick. And then I think you should use that copy. So we'll put that in the description as well. And he said to
Yeah,
use,
that's a big one that we can spend a lot of time talking about. There's a lot of
yeah,
things there that you had mentioned, such as like Facebook groups and groups that are similar like that. I know that you talk a lot about that as far as contractors who's in the free Facebook groups around, and there's
yeah,
so many of them you can be a part of to where you can be involved in a lot of those ways. But we talk about, a lot of your SEM or your Google advertisement and your Facebook advertisement has been another source that we talk about with our contractors. Also the copy that you use, the relevance of the ad to really the person as far as what they're looking for and what they're searching for. The ad has to be relatable. So when they click on it, it's bringing them to the right place that they really want to go to. So if they're clicking on, the verbiage, say, instant quote under 30 seconds or something like that. And there's a lot of different verbiages that we can play with as far as trying to get them to say, "Ooh, I'm interested. What is this? I want
yeah,
to see what this is." What AI generated quotes or things like that? Be like, "What's this? This is new."
yeah,
Anything that you can really catch their attention to
yeah,
get them to click on it, that's going to bring them to the next page, which the next page is essentially like that's the key page of where you're either going to get them to convert or not. Are they going to be interested or not? So some people send them to their homepage and they're just like, wait a minute, you just told me about an AI generated something and now I'm on your homepage. So
yeah.
essentially being able to make sure that the landing of where when they click, as far as it's the intent that they really want to see, and keep the message consistent. If you're talking about under 30-second quotes, make sure that page they land on brings them right to it and it has a caption or a title on there talking about what they actually clicked on. Same thing with AI generated.
It is up top. You have to say this is what to do, right? And then you wanted a pretty simple page. Like you want it to be very basic because you're embedding the Roof Quote Pro in there, and they shouldn't have to scroll very far. That's something people do, where it's like 5 sections down, and they have a bunch of explain. You don't need to explain it 10 times. We just need to tell them what it is, and then it's right there. You keep it
Yep.
very simple because the quote will do the tool will do the talking. It's fun, maybe a little bit of explanation. I just think that like you can't overcomplicate these pages, like you're saying. You really want to make them just the quote right, the thing right there.
Right there. It just says like if you put AI generated quote at the
Yeah.
top, start your AI generated quote and put a
Yeah.
little arrow or whatever right to it. Right
Yeah.
when they show up there, they know exactly what to do, how to proceed. I think a lot of people just kind of overdo it sometimes and they put way too
Yeah.
much detail in there where the customer just gets lost or they have to scroll, down the page, half of it or whatever. And it's just like they lose them. So, I think really just having, again, whether you're doing Facebook or Google advertisement, same type of concept. And a lot of times, as far as you're really trying to get them to click on some sort of ad, some sort of call to action. They're clicking on, they're going somewhere else. Make sure you have whatever you need on there to get them to basically convert, there as well.
This is a subscription to knowledge, the most in-depth knowledge that you can find in our industry. We're spending the money to make sure that our production value is so high that you'll actually absorb the information and feel like you're getting something premium at the Building Experts Institute.
Yeah, it's always the more steps you do, the harder it is. If we could embed Roof Quote Pro on the Facebook ad, we would, right? Like it's not, you don't need them to go to your like the website per se, but it's like you need to get them directly there as soon as possible. The less buttons, the less clicking, the better. And
Yep.
then, like ultimately this idea of sending people to your website, like I'll just weigh in a little bit on that because we do obviously websites and stuff like that. To me, if there's anything that you use the space around it for, it should be, I call them trust factors. Things like testimonials, things like this is what we do different. Like my ideal would be like a testimonial with like 5 stars and Google's logo. And then like, here's 3 badges, like Better Business Bureau, yeah, and insert your other 2 favorites here, right? Like something, your directory badge or whatever happens to be, and then like another thing that says Google 5 stars or whatever, like trust fact. I just call it trust factors, and then
Yep.
that's all tight and all around it, so that if somebody scrolls a little bit further, all they're seeing is trust. Like it's all about trust to me on these websites. And so the more trust we can get, the better. If you're going to surround it with anything, maybe underneath it have trust factors and testimonials. And then so if somebody's scrolling a little bit, they're like, oh, well, because the thing is not just about price. So we're trying to find ways to like kind of frame this in such a way it's not just about price. Um, and yeah, I agree with the like keeping it as simple as you possibly can. I just, if you're doing anything around it, those are the things I would do. People also like when we rolled out a quoting tool on, and this was like a couple years ago, not nearly as good as Roofle, but we did it with DreamWorks Exteriors in Pennsylvania. They went on TV and they told people about it. Like, and you can act like in marketing, we have this term newsjacking, and it doesn't refer to going on TV. It's actually about like AI. Like if you were to talk about AI right now, AI is in headlines, right? So you use AI to capture their attention, and you're kind of newsjacking the attention to your thing. And in their case, they're like, most people don't have this. Most roofers are not this transparent about their pricing, and so we want to share with the local Harrisburg community that we are now giving our pricing up front without you even having to talk to somebody, like, and I think that that kind of vigor on using to promote this is smart. Like if you really want to get the most out of this diligently promote the idea of transparency and drive people back to that quote. Like make it a quick quote. Like if it's yourwebsite.com/quote, so you can say it on TV, or you can say it in your local BNI group, or you can say it in a way that anyone can remember it. I think that these types of things, that's what I would say I would call vigor. Like you should be vigorous about your promotion of this if you want to get the most out of it.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that we can discuss as far as
Yeah.
that. So yeah, TV and radio both. We've
Yeah.
seen in campaigns people are running around that. As far as advertising it, because again, why are you different than the other roofer out there? They all do shingles, they all use nails. I mean, they're all essentially the same, but why are you different than the other one
Pricing
out there? It's a big
transparency.
differentiator. Yeah, price transparency is a big differentiator that I'm willing to be transparent with my pricing where all my competitors are not. And also what we've seen in a lot of those ads is QRs, using QR codes. So that's another big one. Yeah. So if you can display a QR code on your ad while you're on TV, it makes it much easier for that customer to then scan that QR and go immediately right to that site instead of having to call or go to a website or whatever it may be to start going through that experience. QR codes are huge, and we help a lot of our contractors make QR codes because most of them don't even know how to make them. So we help them actually make QR codes that are specific to their landing pages or wherever they really want them to go. But QR codes are used on truck wraps. They're used on yard signs. We've seen them on billboards. We've seen QRs all over the place. Makes it much simpler as far
Two
as
of my favorites, real quick. You were talking about postcards, right? Like you mail that in, you got a QR code with like the promoting the instant quote, and then catch all too, like catch all, having a big QR code with catch all, get your free price quote and the logo. Like I just think that those would be two great ways to promote this as well.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Postcards, sending out mailers or any sort of postcards that you do, being able to get them convert. We see people do postcards in the mail that says like get your instant roof coat before you get back to your front door, in under 20 seconds. They basically get the mail, quickly scan it. By the time they get back to their front door, they've already entered their address and they're going through the process already. So anywhere you can get in front of them and give them easier access without having to actually search the web to go somewhere and they get lost, scan the QR, brings them right to the page that you want them to go and start going through that process and then been able to get them to get that instant quote right away.
I know you've seen people experiment with this as a kiosk at home shows. How do they do that? What are they doing?
Yeah, kiosks or home shows are becoming big, and it was like almost kind of like home shows kind of obviously died out there during COVID. They kind of stalled out. They were bigger years ago, then they kind of stalled out. But we see them; they're starting to really come back again. People really want to get out, be more active and get in there. Especially even the shows that I've been to recently have been packed with people, record attendance at a lot of these shows, this year. But the home shows are really coming back, and people are really putting more time into their home show booths or their displays. But we've seen people do home show kiosks. So what they do is typically they get like an iPad, like a larger iPad. They put it up on a stand and allow the homeowners to kind of go and wander and go get that instant quote right there at home shows. So
Hmm.
at that point, now you're getting a lot of traffic that's even walking by you may not have been able to grab before. Now they have access to this kiosk essentially at a home show to where now they're able to go through that process. And now you're capturing more leads at home shows. And it works with iPads and computers, however you really want to display it. There's many different ways, but I think the more
I thought
efficient
you
way
could
is
do
just get
some
an
kind of
iPad.
fun. You could do some kind of fun stuff there. You could have like a little booth, like like something with the, like how at football games they have like the review booth. You could do one in like a magical instant roof quoter or something like that. You could
Yep.
just make it feel like a little bit of like maybe it's not that, but you know what I'm saying. I'm brainstorming here. I think you could make it
Yeah.
kind of feel fun for people to go in like in 1 minute. You could get I think that would be
Mhm.
definitely more effective than just yelling at them from over there and be like, "You got a roofer?" So there's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot of opportunity to make it feel a little bit more interactive, probably.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, and you've got people doing things where they're helping you're finishing the process for the homeowner. Um, you're sending out something if they just start the process and don't complete it. You're like people are sending mail to those people. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so we touched on it a little bit about talking about mailers a little bit, but there's a whole
Yeah.
other way to be able to use it. So we're capturing address onlys. So let's say a customer comes in, they only enter their address, they don't actually convert, they don't put their information in, but then they bounce off the site because they're like, yeah, not so fast. We're not actually going to give you my info. I've been there, done that, but we still captured the address. And so a lot of our contractors are doing is they're taking that and then they're generating the quote or essentially finishing that process for the homeowner and then mailing that quote to the homeowner. And so some people have used some integration partners where there's integrations to where they can kind of automatically or automate, kind of that process to start sending those things out. But some people have done it kind of personally where the sales reps are able to go in and do it themselves, finish that process, and then actually mail the quote to them as well. And that they've gotten quite a bit of business, that way as well, or at least started a
And
conversation or, we're able to go in and get an appointment.
And if you integrate with tools like you were talking about, dope marketing does automated, like allows you to connect and send out stuff.
Mhm.
And Lead Scout is another one. And I've
Yep.
gone and seen Dope Marketing's office. I think we're actually going in 2 weeks. We're going to visit again, but they've got like these little auto writers too. So you could technically, and I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but you can do like automated handwritten notes.
Yep.
So you could connect that and do like advanced move and just like have that happening automatically, which would be kind of fun too. Um, Talk to me about it. Seems pretty new to me. I don't know how long you've had it, but the rep quote thing, what is the
Mhm.
real like value of this and how do you think this could change the game if people use it?
Yeah, rep quotes. So now essentially without, dealing with website conversions, now you've put the power of the technology in the hands of your sales reps or anybody within your organization to where now that they can access, it from wherever on their phone, computer, iPad, wherever they want to where now if they're in the field, they can get access to it. So a lot of our companies who use canvassers or field reps or if they're talking to customers in the field, they're able to access it, generate that information, and be able to essentially get them their quote instantly while in the field. It's got capabilities of being able to add separate reps to where now you can keep track of their leads separately as well. And being able to, you can now take their links and then now start advertising yourself so they can convert on like your own page. So a lot of sales reps now essentially will be able to take their rep quotes page and be able to take that and send it out to maybe their realtors, property managers that they work with, or whoever they may use as referral partners, to where now they're almost advertising for themselves as well. So when they do convert, that lead comes directly to that sales rep itself.
Talk about realtors. I think that's a real value proposition for Roof Quote Pro. I know I've talked about it with folks before from your team, but sometimes we don't love realtors, right? Like because they want us to do like, and I it depends on who you ask. It's because some people are like, I get so much business from realtors, and other people are like, yeah, we do a lot of quoting for them or like roof inspections when I don't really, like so. Where does this work into that process to get to maybe take some busy work off your, you know what I mean? Like, will realtors like how would they use this, I guess?
Yeah, so I sold roofs for a long time, and I
Yeah.
always hated realtor leads. Always. I always dreaded having to go out there because you knew the chance of you getting the job were very slim because it was
Yeah.
usually just to get a price for the buyer or get a price for the seller. They just, go and take the money as off of the discounted rate, price of the house, and you never really ever get the job. So you did a bunch of work for a very small, chance of actually getting the work. Where now, a couple different ways that you can use it, is that you're essentially sending your realtor to, your Roofle tool or your rep quotes, or maybe to your Roof Quote Pro, that you send them there, and now they're getting the estimates by themselves without having to actually send you out there to go drive an hour, put your time into measuring, ordering the measurement, whatever it may be. You're able to just send them right to there, and they can get it like that. Instead of them having to wait days to make a proposal on a house, they can go get the quote, have their number that they want to be able to take off of their price, and be able to send those offers in much quicker. Realtors love it. We get calls from realtors almost daily saying, "Hey, where can I access this in my local community? I need to find a roofer who has this technology because we don't
Mm.
it's hard for us to wait days on quotes. We know we're not a top priority, but we have to do it." And so using this for realtors is has been a dream for them.
Yeah, and I want to wrap up talking about consumer expectations because I think that this is something where I've always said that if I was a homeowner, I would want this. I would want the ability to get a fairly quick quote without talking to a salesperson, to be honest with you. That's what I would want as a homeowner. We got, Mike Goldenstein was talking to Martin Pettigrew, and Martin Pettigrew said, the my sales reps are enjoying Google leads much more because they're getting vetted every time they come through. So you've got people out here that are very smart like that. They've got a good lead flow, um, advocating for you guys. They're a client of ours as well. May or may not, I know that a huge piece is their brand, but I'm grateful to serve them. And this is something that's coming, right? There's a consumer expectation increasing now. So there also is a little bit of consumer education that has to happen around this. And that's partly your job as a roofer a little bit is to show them what's possible. And that means you could create videos on this. You could share with them how nice, like you could talk about transparency. Like I said, this is a pre-made core value for marketing if you want it to go along with Roof Quote Pro, which is transparency in pricing. And you could make a series on transparency videos that ends with a call to action to this. You could do one a week. You could do one every other week. The point is like there is some education that has to happen with this. And where do you think the we are in that shifting landscape? It's definitely the expectation in many other industries to be able to get a quote very quickly. But what about for roofing? Where are we at? Are we 50% of the way there? Are we 100% and roofers are just late? Where are we?
If you truly believe in what you're doing and you want to be the best version of yourself and you want to build a great organization, there's no other place to do that besides the Roofing Academy.
Yeah, I think it's just been known in the construction industry that you have to have somebody in your house. That's just been the normal. But the thing is now is that millennials own 1/3 of the homes today in America. So the millennials are becoming more and more homeowners, and millennials love technology. So I think that as long as we educate them, and I think that we're probably only, I would say, 30 to 40% there right now as far as educational wise, as
Yeah.
far as the contractors actually getting the word out there to the homeowner this is available.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it comes down to them, advertising it more, pushing it more, making it more than normal. And I would say by this time next year, we're probably going to be in the 60 to 70%, part of it to where, the consumers, as far as knowing, we've created a great white labeled video that they can use. They can put their own logos in it as well that we give to our customers that they can put on their site, help educate homeowners about what this is, and why they should be using it. But again, yeah, it comes down to price transparency. And I promise you that if you get this or if you don't have this, we have plenty of customers calling us daily that say, "Saw my competitor has this. They advertised it. Now I have to get it," because we are hearing about our customers saying it. And that's why I say, it's probably that 30-40% ish range because, it's getting there. And we're making traction every single day as the time goes on. But I think by this time next year, if everyone does their part as far as educating the homeowners that this is available, it'll just become more of the norm, and we'll eventually get to that, 90 to 100%.
And I say that to say, like, if you had done something with price transparency a couple of years ago, or you did Roofle right at the beginning of this, like, doesn't mean, and for some reason you weren't pushing it as much, or you weren't getting a ton through it. It's just time goes on, and this is certainly the direction that homeowner expectations are going. And ideally, like in a lot of cases, I think as a homeowner, I just go into homeowner mode. This is my ideal. So I just think that's why I think it's smart to adopt. And I also believe it's this idea of like getting vigorous about testing, because you have to learn, like, if this is really where it's going, if this is where the industry is going, if this is where homeowners wants are going. If you don't test this stuff now, if you don't figure out how to market it well, if you don't figure out how to promote it well and how to be the one in your area to be known for transparency, that type of thing, then when it's really just basic, if everyone has something like this and you don't know how to market it, you're behind. So I would say it's that you're behind thing. There's a little bit of fear. There's a little bit of fear of missing out that I think ultimately, like, we just need to learn. I just want to learn this stuff. I want to learn it so that I'm not like trying to chase to catch up with competitors kind of thing. That's, if I was a roofer, that's where I would be, my mindset.
And that's what we talk about is early adopters, always get the most market share. So the first ones that adopt it and advertise it, they're going to be known for being the first ones in their market for the ones of doing price transparency. And again, it's the way the market's going. Look at everything else around them. It's all going this way, giving it to them whenever they want it, whenever they need it, technology based. It's all going this way. So essentially with it's no way to stop it. We have to adapt to the consumer. It's not about the roofers. It's about the consumer. that's coming really what they want. And so essentially we have to adapt to them. So adapt it now. Don't miss out. Be an early adopter. Be the first ones in your market to get it going, advertising it, and you'll gain more market share. You'll gain more business from doing so.
You love to hear it. You love to hear it. Where can people go to get a demo?
Yeah, they can go to roofquotepro.com or go to roofle.com, and you can book your demo right there on those pages.
And like I said, we used
We
to
all,
do price quotes and stuff like that. We used to build this stuff custom. And I admire how much you guys have done and are doing to improve the technology on a daily basis. That's what I respect. I respect it. This thing's getting better and better all the time. And I'm scared. I'm scared of how good you guys are going to get in this next couple of years because you guys are going so quick. It's pretty cool.
yeah,
Just purchase us when you just like get gigantic. I mean, Job Nimbus did it. You know, it all makes sense. It all makes sense, Travis. Just hit me up.
yeah, someday.
All right, Travis, appreciate you being on. Appreciate you letting me joke around with you. Sorry, everyone, for wearing these glasses. I got a little scrape on my eye, so the light is messing with me. But I hope everyone has a great day. Subscribe, like, comment, keeps it all up in the algorithm. And thank you for your time.